The following is a presentation of the IH Sports Network. You're listening to the Monday Night Roundtable. For the next 2 hours, we'll talk local high school sports with the voice of the Oneida Indians, Tim Smith.
10-5, touchdown, Indians.
Give me the corners, 2 scores, baby.
Give me the corners.
The voice of the Scott Highlanders, Rick Keaton.
Throw the ball, has a receiver long upfield, chasing it down. Made by Rylan Griffith. Take it all the way from the end zone.
Produced by the IH Sports Network, the Roundtable begins now.
Good Monday evening, everyone, and welcome to the Roundtable on the IH Sports Network. We're coming to you live this evening from the C. Michael Lake Technology Center in Helenwood. Thank you for being with us. I'm Ben Garrett, alongside the voice of the Scott Highlanders, Rick Keaton, and the voice of the Oneida Indians. Oh, wait a minute, you're not Tim Smith.
Oh,
Tim
not.
is not here tonight. We'll make fun of him more as the evening goes on. Light show tonight, Rick Keaton. We're not going to talk football, except to say a great effort by Oneida Friday night. Came up a little bit short at Gordonsville. That concluded our broadcast season for football. Now we're in the basketball mode, and so we started basketball 2 weeks ago, and tonight we're going to wrap up basketball. We're going to talk about wrestling and a little bit more as well, but joined first by Scott High head coach Rusty Yaden, and going to jump right into this with Coach Yaden because you've got a middle school game to get to tonight, and so the same coach Jacob King joined us, I guess, early. We pre-recorded him. We'll have him a little bit later. He was going to middle school games tonight also. So everybody's got middle school games tonight. That's where your priority should be right now, though. You know.
And my grandson's sixth grader now, so he's kind of getting going. So we'll catch him every chance I get.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what it should be. All right, so let's jump right into this thing. Of course, your team coming off a district championship a year ago, first district championship for Scott High in basketball, boys or girls, in almost 30 years. So close to pulling off a huge upset in the region quarterfinals and or region semifinals, and getting to the sub-state over at Fulton last year. Came up just a little bit short. Now you got some pieces to fill. You lose only a couple of seniors, but man, what an important role that they played for you. Brittany Morrow and Connor Hudson, both of those girls playing college basketball this year. So let me start by asking you, how do you replace I know your answer is you don't, but how do you feel that the roles
with what they provided us, their roles, I mean, we don't have, replacing them. We've got a lot of different parts, and we're going to be a much smaller team. Last year we could do a lot of double post action with Connor and Addie. Then you got Brittany being a tall guard, so we had some length last year. That changes. We got Rogers with the height and the length, and then we're a whole bunch of small forwards and guards on the roster. So you don't replace that. You just, that's what I love about high school coaching, Ben, is, you don't necessarily go out, unless you're some schools, I guess, that go out and recruit what they want. But you take what you got and you mold it and you find the style that works best, and that's what we're trying to do.
Let's start by talking about the players that are going to be in your rotation this year, and start with your seniors, and then just work your way down the list. Who can we expect to see this year?
We've got 3 starters returning, so that'd be Carly Branscombe, she's a senior. Then Callie Strunk, she's a junior, and then Addie Rogers, she's a sophomore now. And I love saying that, it's only a sophomore with Addie. It'll be built around them 3. They'll see a whole lot of action. Other seniors is Hope Duncan. Then Amy Lou Allen is joining us this year. She's technically a junior, but she did homeschool stuff, so she's really only got 1 year of eligibility the way she's done that. So she's, more or less a senior. Mai Sharp got a lot of minutes off the bench last year. She'll start this year. We'll have a freshman guard starting, Mai Smith, coming from Huntsville. And then Sage Risden, she'll get a lot of minutes off the bench as a guard. She's a freshman. And J.C. Goodman. I've been really pleased with J.C. She, after summer camps and stuff, she came back after dead period was over, and she's been a different person. And so her and Hope's kind of combining at that one spot a lot, and you'll see the girls that play a whole lot.
So you were telling us when you got here before we came on that some nights you'll have as many as 3 freshmen on the floor together, or at least 3 freshmen will get minutes in the same game. Maybe not on the floor together.
We'll possibly have 4 freshmen get minutes in the same game. Depending on matchups and stuff, we could possibly have 3 out there at once at times this year. Kelly Hewitt, she's another freshman. She's battling a little back injury right now, so she's out. But I look for her to give us some varsity minutes as well. Kendall Gibson's a junior. She'll be on the varsity. So, yeah, I mean, you guys, everybody will see a lot of freshmen this year.
So, well, the good thing is you lose so much in the players that you lost, but then you look at your starters who are returning, and these are girls who are very experienced.
Yes.
Because Carly Branscombe has started some every year that she's been there, and now a senior. Callie, a junior, she started summer freshman year, and then obviously played a huge role for you last year. And then you say that she's only a sophomore when you're talking about Addie Rogers, but she played such an outsized role last year as a freshman. She doesn't seem like a sophomore.
No,
she's battle tested and ready to go as well. So you actually do have some experience out there.
Well, that's like you say with her, with Addie. Then you take these freshmen I'm talking about. I think people question me sometimes why I play so many JV games and stuff, but we played 17 JV games this summer. So all these freshmen got 17 JV games, and then I started working them in varsity. So I don't even look at these freshmen like they're freshmen anymore because they've played so much ball already. They're kind of like sophomores and juniors, and that's just a critical point, I think, of playing JV a lot.
So my next question was going to be, does it worry you to think about you're getting ready to go in this thing at the 2A level and maybe having 4 freshmen in any given game see minutes, but you're okay with that?
I'm okay. I mean, I threw them at it this summer. That's one thing, having the shorts, really not having a summer with them last year at all. We just was not able to build up depth, and that was my number one mission this summer in this preseason. We were going to have depth, and I think we got that this year. You know, we can plug some pieces together. I've got a couple girls that can play, I call them hybrids. You know, they can be a wing or a small forward type, and the way we're trying to play, that stuff's critical. So I think depth won't be an issue this year.
So were you pleased with the way summer went and the way you played a lot of play days now in the fall? I guess you better have, since we're 72 hours away from getting this thing started for real. How have you liked the way your team has responded?
Our defense has been really strong. You know, the consensus of people talking at Sauce this summer, they just keep talking about how hard they play, and the girls they play extremely hard, and you can always do a lot of things with that. I've been pretty well pleased. We went 3-1. Varsity went 3-1 our 4 preseason games. Loss was Oak Ridge. They beat us by 15. So, and really, we were within 2 or 3, 2 minutes left in the third, and then we hit a coat spell. But solid defense there, and I like where we're at. You know, sharing the ball well. The pace has been extremely fast, and that's what we're trying to do.
So I sat here last year, and Rick Keaton, I wish I could say I sat here and predicted the district championship. I did not go that far, but I did say that I thought that your girls were going to surprise some people, and they did. Well, there's no catching anybody by surprise this year because you are now the defending district champion. Everybody this year thinks that Clinton is the team to beat, and that's probably fair because they've got so much returning. Anderson County, obviously, the team you played in the district championship, they've got a lot back too. I still feel like that because everybody says that you lost Brittany Morrow, you lost Connor Hudson, it's going to be a step back. I still feel like that this team is ready to surprise some people a little bit this year. Is that a fair assessment?
I think it's a fair assessment. If we were doing a preseason poll or whatever, I would just for the fact that Clinton and Anderson County are both so senior heavy now, about all these juniors that played for them were starters as juniors. So you'd about have to, just experience, you'd probably pick them 2 in the preseason, but I don't. I think we're right there, and I really do. And it's just, go out and play.
Well, let's break it down just a little bit. You mentioned defense, and having known you for so long, I know that defense is an important characteristic that your players must have to be able to get minutes on the floor. It's not all about points, about defense. Let's talk about the Rusty Yaden defense and some of the players you talked about, where they need to be defensively, where you play them at on the floor.
Well, you're going to see us about 95% of the time. We're going to be 94 feet up in you the whole game this year, unless we get to the end and we want to back it off. I just feel like we have to play that way. I feel like we've got 6 guards that we can just rotate spots and stay fresh. But you're going to see, whereas in the past I've been with last year's team, for example, some games we would, some games we wouldn't, some games would be a mixture. I don't care to state it right now. We're going to get up in you 94 feet from start to finish almost this year.
And how do your players respond into transition to get a stop defensively and get back down the floor? Talk about the pieces of that.
Well, anybody that knows me knows I've normally been a 3 guard, 2 post coach. You're going to see a lot of 4 guard, 1 post this year, but I feel like we can outrun people. And so, transition-wise, everybody knows where they're supposed to go on the break. Depending on if we're 4 guards or 3 guards, everybody knows where they're supposed to get to. And so we're looking at pushing the ball at all costs, even after makes. We're going to try to run it back at you, and that style can translate into sloppiness at times. I know that. But what I'm banking on is being able to rotate all these guards is just wearing teams down, especially if the teams don't have many ball handlers. If we're going to just put a lot of pressure on the team's primary ball handler and make other people handle it.
So we'll see a lot of – it's now, I guess the terminology, 4-out offense in your guards out on the perimeter with a post player. How do you get the ball inside to Addie Rogers? Do you have to run a lot of what I call option offense or classic move and break?
I fully expect teams to start out collapsing on her and seeing what we do outside. And we've shot the ball very well outside this preseason. I've got select plays I've got for Addie where I call her like our point forward, where she's going to initiate the play. And then we'll get her screens and stuff to get her inside after she initiates the play. I'd like to say we'd see a lot of man. We've saw very little man this preseason. Teams just do not want to, fool with her inside, one-on-one. So we've saw a whole lot of zone already. Now, South Doyle Thursday night, I think they'll play man. And I like our chances, Addie, against anybody when they're one-on-one down there.
And let us not forget, Addie is quite well capable of stepping out beyond the arc and a very good outside shooter, three-point shooter, actually.
About the last third of the season last year, she started, Connor, we had her shooting trailer threes all year. Then Addie started developing it, then the wing. If teams do want to play man and then they try to collapse it on there, Addie's capable of shooting that 3. And so I think we got a lot of different things we can do with Addie. Even against the zone, we got some things. And so the way I anticipate teams defending her, if we shoot the ball the way we have been shooting, teams ain't going to be able to do that the whole time. They're going to have to pick their poison, when we're making shots outside.
The guards that you were talking about, how are they at being able, A, to get entry passes into your post players, and B, actually driving inside the lane and getting some layups?
I think they're good. Now, we don't just pure one-on-one play from guards. I don't know that I can sit here and say that we've got guards that can just consistently take somebody off the dribble. Just going to be a lot of motion type stuff. We'll use a lot of ball screens. I've did a whole lot of ball screens this preseason for our guards, getting them separation, getting them into the paint. We've been without Maya Sharp for 2-3 weeks of our preseason. We just got her back really Saturday. That's a big plus on getting the ball up the floor quicker. I think we got different parts we can rotate. So I hope I'm not wrong.
And based on what you're saying, we won't necessarily see, especially early in the season, maybe the same 5 starting every game early on.
No, I think right now it'd be. I'm pretty set on the starting 5. But it's just going to be. There's going to be about 6 guards rotating at those guard spots, and it's just trying to stay fresh. And then we got about 3 girls at the 4 or 5 spots, I call them. And then Kelly Hewitt, when she gets healed up from her back, that'll be another point forward we can use. So I'm not saying this is great depth by any means. Like where we're just going, hey, we can whatever. What we do have this year is we can rotate pieces, and I'm not concerned about it dropping off. Because last year hindsight's 2020. I feel like we ran out of gas in the Northview game. And I wish, hindsight, I wish I went back and stole a few minutes here and there. But,
in the heat of the game, when things are going well, it's hard for you to look down the bench and say, do I want to make a change here and interrupt the flow that's happening out on the court? We saw that a lot going down the stretch last year, and it was, when good things are happening out there, you hate to insert somebody else and let them have to feel that cohesiveness again.
But the way we're going to play this year, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We will be subbing. We'll be subbing a lot, rotating around, because it's going to be up and down fast. Is how we're going to play this year. Some
pointing questions. Best ball handler.
Best ball handler. I think it's just by committee.
Okay.
I mean, as far as the primary two ball handlers doing the most ball handling, that'll be My Sharp and Callie Strunk. They'll handle it the most, like getting us into our sets and stuff. And then, like I said, mentioned earlier, we'll be using Addie to get us started in some stuff. People will be thinking, why in the world you got Addie out there 25 feet from the basket? Well, Addie's not going to be staying 25 feet from the basket. She's going to get the play started, and we give her some cross screens, and then we get her down the block that way.
Best passer.
Best passer.
Well, I'm really putting you on the spot.
Yeah, you are.
I don't mean to do that.
Rick, I don't know. I've liked our passing so far this preseason. I don't know if I just per se have an individual best passer. We have shared the ball really well. I'll say that. Mm-hmm. We've hit the open person. Ball movement's been really solid, and so I'll just leave it at that on that one.
Okay. Thinking about not Rusty the coach, but the players on the Highlanders team. Who would they defer and say, we want to take the last shot in a game?
Probably Addie.
Okay.
Probably Addie or Callie.
Okay. And
that depends on the defense. Now if it's a zone, I think they're going to be saying Carly.
Right.
Carly was 7 of 13 Saturday out here in 2 games from threes, so been real pleased with her play.
You take that average, that's
60%.
You take that all the time.
Well, I'm a math guy, so 7 of 13, that's 21 points. That's the same as 10.5 out of 13 twos. You take that percentage all day.
I've never seen anyone hit half a 2-point shot.
I know.
It happened. Okay. Your number one lockdown defender.
My Sharp's really good on ball. On ball defense, she's really solid. And then I was really pleased with Addie's defense out here Saturday. We had her on the real good person from Cofield, and Addie pretty well did well. I'll just leave it at that.
I was really going to zero in on best rebounder, but I think I know who that is anyway. That'd be Addie, correct?
Now, I've challenged Addie. I felt like she could rebound better than what she did last year at times. I've challenged her to be a double-double person, average-wise, this year. And so I told her I wanted 10 to 12 rebounds a game, and I think she can get that.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of double-doubles.
Yeah.
16 and 10 all the time. I guess you'd take that.
But you mentioned rebounding. That's something we're going to – that's a concern. I mean, girls hear it from me. They're probably sick of hearing it from me because where we are so small. And I tell them, I said, girls, Addie can't grab every rebound. We've got to everybody chip in. And I didn't do stats against Oak Ridge and stuff. We did do stats out here Saturday. Cumberland Gap scrimmage, we was a +8 rebounding. Cofield was a +7. So if we can be on the plus side with this small lineup, I'll take that.
And the last thing I really want to ask, overall, the ability to score 45-plus points a game, do you have that this year?
Yes. The way we're going to play, I think last year we ended up averaging 53, 54 a game. I think we'll be there. I think we'll be there plus because there's going to be more possessions in the game the way we're playing.
because late in the season, I used to compare things. I'd run the other team's scoring average. I'd run our scoring average, and I would comment about, this team scores 50 a game. We average 54, and if we can hold them to less than 50 and get our average, then it's a win. So,
and every game's different. The depending on your opponent, the style they play. But our goal is to be 55 to 60 this year.
That would be a nice improvement. It sure
Now,
would.
now, what goes along with playing this style is you're going to give up some more points too. So me stressing defense so much, I've got to live with that. And,
as long as they're having fun.
yeah, exactly. I think you might watch this. You're going to see us having fun, and the fans are going to have fun watching them.
Excellent.
Don't know how that translates into wins and losses, but it won't be boring.
So, Rusty, you've been coaching high school basketball now for the better part of 20 years, and so many times I know you got a grandson now playing middle school ball. So many times you've been so close to winning district championships, but it's always just a little short. At Oneida, you had to play Alex Fountain and Wartburg when they were at the kind of the peak of their careers. Had a sub-state team at Oneida, but you also had Wartburg in your path. And then at Sunbright, so many good teams, but you always had Oneida and Wartburg, and the district was really good. And midway, too, during that stretch. Last year, you get over the hump. So as a coach, does that take some pressure off of you, or does it taste so good you just want more? You want to go back to the buffet again?
I think I want more. I ain't gonna lie. That stuff was on my mind, just always so close. It's amazing how many times at Sunbright we would have a key injury right toward down the stretch, or actually in the tournament after it already started. And it was good to get over the hump last year. And but all the credit to the girls. Last year could have been a whole different setup. Got a coach coming in, did not have the summer with them. And then, we take over a program, you always wonder, okay, how's the buy-in going to be or whatever. And they bought in day one. They bought in, I told them, I said, girls, I'm going to be demanding. Doesn't mean I don't like you. And I challenged them, and I think they just wanted to win so bad, that they played their guts out. And it's good when you don't have to beg and plead with a team to play hard for you. That's a big step right there in success. And it's just carried over to this year. They play so hard.
All right, remind us who you've got 2 games on Saturday against.
Our first game that day, trying to think how I got this set up. I think we play Harriman, our first game, 11 o'clock. And then we got Monterey at 4:40-ish, somewhere in there. Okay,
so the season opens on Thursday night at South Doyle. Rick Keaton, you know how I know we're 72 hours away from basketball season? Rusty typically calls me about once a week.
Okay.
And I haven't heard from him in weeks. I just sit around staring at my phone saying I have no friends again. Thursday night at South Doyle. Saturday you got Harriman and Monterey at home. Full day of basketball that day. And then Tuesday night is your next home game. That'll be our first broadcast against Halls. So
Halls, yeah.
Yeah, a whole lot of basketball coming up in the next week. You're going to throw your players to the wolves right away against teams like South Doyle and Halls.
South Doyle's they're a fellow 3A team. Halls is 4A. I think we got Campbell County on the schedule. They're 4A this year. We go to Northview, so we've got a good schedule. I like our schedule. We don't have very many teams at all that's 2A or 1A on the schedule this year. And then Kingston, they're 2A. I don't regard them as 2A. They're high enrollment 2A, where we're small enrollment 3A. So, it's basically equal there. But Hall of Fame Day, I encourage everybody to come out. So the misconception about Hall of Fame Day is these games don't count. Yes, they do count. They count on your win-loss record. Last year, the gym was like a morgue in our Hall of Fame Day, and I just encourage people to come out. At least for one of the games.
Every game after today counts by the TWSAA standard.
Yeah. And anymore, I don't know if high school is ever going to get in like college. You don't win enough ball games, you get replaced quickly. So we need people to come out and watch us play. And again, I think you will really like watching this team play. The pace is going to be very fast.
All right, Coach Rusty Yaden, good luck this season, and we'll see you a lot between now and February. We're going to take a break. Oh, by the way, let me say that, as always, we want to thank Little's Drugs and Fountain for sponsoring this first segment. Best lunch spot in Huntsville. Have I ever said that?
You have.
Well, it is.
Especially on Mondays.
Yeah, well.
Because Tim likes cabbage soup.
Cabbage soup. Yeah, cabbage soup Monday. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk to Oneida basketball coach Jacob King. Welcome back to the Roundtable on the IH Sports Network. Ben Garrett along with Oneida men's basketball coach Jacob King. Obviously, you can see we're a little bit different. We are not live. We have pre-recorded this segment. It's a lot of stuff going on. It's tough to get everybody together in the studio. We've got revivals. We've got different things. Middle school basketball. As this airs, you'll actually be on your way to Norris, I think, to watch your son play, which is exactly where your priority should be. So we're recording this early, but Jacob, as you get ready to go into this season, and by the way, Tim Smith in Texas this week, I apologize, you got to talk to me instead of him. But as you get ready to go into this season, you're moving back down to single A. Yes. To me, that's the biggest storyline going into this because, number one, it's good to get away from Alcoa and Gatlinburg-Pittman. But I think, number two, if you ask most folks around the district, they would agree that Oneida has got to be considered a strong contender for a district championship this year. Is that fair to say?
Well, I mean, I would think we'd be one of the favorites. We got everybody returning from, starting five that's returning back. That's not saying they'll be the starting five, but we got the four guys that started the last 2 years, and then I started a freshman some last year. But we got our main core coming back this year, and if we stay injury free, we've got a shot.
So let's talk about those guys, and we'll start with your seniors, and you just fill us in on the ones that are coming back, the faces coming back that we're familiar with, which is pretty much everybody, and then any new faces that we might expect to see this year, if there are any.
Well, you got Grady Keaton coming back. He started for me for 3 years. He won a district and a region title when we played in a sub-state his freshman year. But he's averaging almost 20 points in his career against some of the best competition the last 2 years. So I'm expecting a big year out of him. He's not touched a basketball. Well, he's not played since our last game last year in the region. He's been hurt in football. Then you've got Ben Gilbert coming back. You know what Ben is for us. He is a motor. He gets us going. He's going to get rebounds, loose balls. Then you got Jesse Zachary coming back, big kid who could really, I hope he takes some big steps forward. I mean, he's played against some big guys the last 2 years. Then you've got two new seniors coming out this year that played with us this summer. I wish they'd have played all 4 years. Brock Ryan, one of them, but even if Brock Ryan had played, he'd had so much shoulder problems. And then you've got big Brady Burke coming out. They'll get a play. They played this summer. And then my junior class, Drayton Wade, who started for me last year. I'm expecting big things out of Drayton. And then you got Israel Turner, who's a junior. Israel is getting better every day. I talked to him yesterday. He could be a defensive guy that could just lock somebody down. Side to side, he's quick. That's the only two juniors that I have. Then I got sophomore Kanan Shoemaker, who started a lot of games for me last year. I expect him to do even more this year. We will see pressure, but it will not be like the defensive pressure that we've seen the last couple of years. When you play Alcoa, GP, and AE, they just got athlete after athlete that keeps coming at you. So hopefully his life will be a little bit easier. Then you've got Kenton Lay, who improved so much from his freshman year to this past summer. He had a great summer. He even started some games for me, which had some kids hurt, but he done the little things. He figured out how to stay on the floor. Then we have Jake Markham, who's almost 6'5" now. He didn't get to play with us this summer. He got hurt in football and dislocated his knee, broke his knee, I guess. He's slowly getting back. He's not 100% yet, but he's getting there. Then you got Jackson Phillips, left-hander. He can shoot the basketball. He had a good summer too. I mean, I played a lot of young kids this summer. We got some depth. We made some depth by getting to play all these kids. And then you've got Troy Yaden's son Brady. He's transferred in. Then my freshman class, I've got 3 freshmen. One of them's Cannon Kazay. Had a great middle school career. He started some games for us this summer. He'll be somewhere in the rotation just because he may not be ready for it, but I want him to get some experience because next year he'll be on the floor a whole lot more. And then I've got Caden Keaton, which is Grady's brother. He's about 6'2", 6'3". And then I've got Landon Moore, a freshman, rounding it out on my roster.
So as you get ready to go into this thing, you're accustomed to losing some guy, or not losing, but not having some guys in the preseason because of football.
Yes.
This year is a little bit different in that so many guys in your rotation have not been with you yet in the preseason because they've been in football. What's that been like trying to prepare?
It's tough. I mean, you can only do so much with 6, 7, sometimes 8 kids at practice. A lot of fundamentals we've done, but like you said, usually I've always had 3 to 4 starters that's with me that didn't play football. This is a little bit different. So I think, we'll know. I guess we're acting like this is Monday, but I'll know something Friday night if we get them back Monday or not. I hope they go on. But if they do lose, I'll have a week and a day to get them ready to play in a game. It's different. And I think, back when I played, Coach Hall still had a few of us, but there was a lot that played football, and it seemed like we didn't really get going until after Christmas. It takes them football guys about a month or so to get football out of them and get really in it. So I want to hit the ground running, but I also understand that, it's not like riding a bicycle. It takes a little time to transition from football to basketball.
So as we're talking, it's Friday afternoon. They're getting ready to head down to Gordonsville in just a few hours. But if they were to go to Gordonsville and win tonight, and you were not to have them for another weekend, so you go then into game week, and you've not had them yet. Do you have a starting 5 that you say this is what I want to put on the floor, or are you just going to wing it?
I would probably start Kanan Shoemaker, Kenton Lay, Jackson Phillips, Jake Markham, and probably that would be 4 of them. Let me see: Kanan, Kenton, Jake, Jackson, and there's one more, but I can't think. Probably, I don't know. I mean, I would only have 7 kids, so. But if they did win and lose the next Friday, we'd get into practices. But I would start the guys that'd been there, but them football guys would play if they, I've done that before. I mean, Hall of Fame situations.
So what has it been like? So you watch these guys play on Friday night.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're rooting for the best. You want them
Yes.
to do well. But in the back of your mind, when there's a hard hit on the field, you've got to be saying, get up, get up, get up. Because I know Rusty Aiden at Scott High, he would text me during soccer season. He'd say, how did the game go? And I said, Rusty, I know what you're really wanting to know, and that is, did my kids get hurt?
Yeah.
Do you worry about that? I mean,
I do.
You got to a little bit, right?
I got to because, I mean, this senior class is a good class. And for us to get to where we got to go, everybody's got to stay healthy. And we can't have no injuries when they get to me either. I mean, that every coach should be like that, But I want them to go as far as they can go. I want them to bring that winning attitude over to us, and hopefully they win Friday night. But I'm not going to lie, there's a part of me that I'm ready for them to be at basketball.
So a lot of coaches, we talked to Brent Ellis last week on the show at Scott High, and his team, very senior laden, just like yours, also chasing a district championship this year. So many seniors on this year's team. And coaches, a lot of times they talk about scheduling. Marv West likes to schedule hard early in the season to get ready for the postseason. Well, you've got guys that have played 2 years against Alcoa and GP. And you've scheduled up this year too. You've got Cosby, could be a potential sub-state opponent down the road. You're going to play them twice. But what the dividends, or the experiences from the past 2 years, what dividends will that pay this year for these guys?
I think we've got to come in with the mindset, and I'm going to talk to them about it. If we didn't play at a high level, we were coming home getting beat up pretty bad. You understand what I'm saying? So we've got to come in with that mindset that we've got to play hard no matter who we're playing. And we do play Campbell County twice, who's a big school. We played George Jefferson, Anderson County twice. Our Christmas tournament is going to be with some good teams. But as coaches, too, we've got to work just like we did the last 2 years. There was never a night where you could feel like you just go show up and win. When we got to keep that same mindset, even though we're back in single A, we've got to work just as hard like we did last 2 years, just trying to figure out a way to get a win. And I'm looking forward to it. The being in Double-A was tough. I'm not going to lie, but I think we beat everybody at least once other than AE and Alcoa, and we had some success at the end of last year. We upset GP. We done that 2 years in a row. Got to go to the region. The first year where I thought we had a better shot at getting at the region, we didn't get a go. We did last year, and the one part I'm not going to miss is the travel of the Double-A. But as far as preparing and trying to get your kids ready to go beat somebody that you probably shouldn't, that was fun to me. Even though there were some times we got beat 25 or 30, we still prepared and tried to go get a win. And we got to have that same mindset as coaches every time we step on the floor.
Your team, as I look at it, obviously Grady Keaton is a pure basketball player. And you got some other basketball players, but most of your rotation around Grady, I would describe your team as a blue-collar team. Right? I mean, they're not necessarily pure basketball players so much as they're just good athletes who go out and they hustle and they do little things. And, I mean, talk about the character of your team.
We got to be hard-nosed. I mean,
and you are.
Yeah.
You're very much hard-nosed most of the time.
You got Ben Ben. You see how he plays at football. He plays every down like it's his last. He's going to do whatever he can to get that extra yard. Same way on the basketball court. You got Jesse, who I think will do the same thing. And a lot of people don't know it, and I think they'll see it this year. Drayton Wade is more of a basketball player than he is anything else, and also. But I think we got to be hard-nosed. We got to take charges. We got to dive on the floor. But you're right. We're a blue-collar team. The only way we're going to get there is how hard we work and how hard we play.
Talk about the rest of the district. What's that look like?
Well, Alder Springs will probably be still pretty good. They still got that point guard. I know some kids transferred out. I think Cofield could be pretty good. I think they got everybody returning. The coach's son, who's a big-time receiver at Cofield, I can't think of his last name right now. But he's a good player. Sunbright will be a little bit down. They lost their 2 post players from last year. Wattberg, you know what that coach does. He's been at Oakdale. He's been successful. They'll be pretty good, I'm sure. The Jellicoe, I've not heard much on them, but I know their coach, and he'll have them ready to play. But we'll just have to wait and see. I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, just the not having to get on a bus and go 2 hours every day. You know what I'm saying? That was tough. That was tough.
And then once you get out of the district and into the region, you've got Harriman, defending state tournament team from last year.
Yeah.
Probably going to be pretty good again. Anybody else that you're going to contend with in the region?
Rockwood. I've heard some things down there that they've got a kid, an eminent kid. He was a quarterback that's pretty good. Don't know about Greenback. But Harriman, they're going to be good. And he's got, I think, everybody returned back from Harriman's team, from a state tournament team. So, we didn't schedule them. I wish we would have. But, we probably might be a region semifinal, region championship game if we do our part and get there.
Yeah, I know you can't. As a coach, you can't afford to look ahead. But I think, to me, most folks around the district and around the region, they're looking at this thing, and, yeah, they've already got that pencil in. Oneida, Harriman, But that's a long, long ways away. A lot of things happen between now and then.
I mean, that's been a good rivalry between us and Harriman. I think when I first took over, they beat us 5 times, and we finally upset them my second year in the region championship, if you remember, and I think we won the next year 5 straight times, and then he's got me the last couple of times. And but it's been fun. I like playing that competition, but I want it to be a good rivalry, not where some team wins 10 in a row. But it's it makes us better. It makes them better. It makes single-A basketball better in this area when us and Harriman are good. And don't count out Rockwood, don't count out Alder Springs, and don't count out Jellicoe, because I think Jellicoe, did they not upset Harriman last year in the district tournament?
Yeah, they did.
I'm telling you, it's not going to be as easy as people think. But if my guys will just play as hard as they did against that Double-A competition that we played, which I thought for the past 2 years was the toughest district in Double-A. I mean, the first year you had 3 guys that was finalists for basketball player of the year in state of Tennessee in Double-A, and it didn't go down much last year. I mean, Alcoa was right back in the state championship and almost won it twice. So
one thing you saw the last 2 years at the AA level was great coaching. I mean, guys that
Yes.
you had to figure out game in and
Yes.
game out.
Yes.
How am I going to out-scheme these guys,
Yes.
including your cousin at Eagleton, and maybe
Distant
knew
cousin now.
your
Distant
tendencies a little bit.
yes.
Very distant
Yeah.
cousin. But he loved to throw that out a little bit.
Oh, I
And,
know.
Saw you two guys, as a matter of fact, in a little bit of a shootout. In the
Yeah, he
postseason.
beat me down there.
He beat you.
Yeah.
But as you drop back down to single A, you still got, I mean, you got Mike Reynolds at Jellicoe. You've got Travis Nelson at Wartburg. And
State
obviously-
tournament coach.
Yeah,
yes.
and then when you get to region, you got Shay Shannon at Harriman.
Mhm.
Coaches that they've been
Yes.
around for a while, and they know what they're doing.
Yes,
they're going
they
to have
do.
their teams ready to
Yeah,
play.
they will. I mean, they're not just going to. Nobody's laying down for us because we come back from AA. They're wanting to beat us, and but I'm wanting to beat them too. And I'm just the coaching night in and night out in that district in AA. Like the Eagletons, the Pigeon Fords, they was just like me. They were scheming so hard just trying to figure out how to get a win in the district, and we will do the same, and these coaches we go up against in single A will also be doing the same. And by the way, we do play Eagleton again, so we did get that
Well,
scheduled.
good. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
All right, so maybe this time you guys can move that shootout competition to halftime. And
Yeah, there
let
you
folks
go.
be in there.
There
and
you
see
go,
it.
there you go.
All right. So does any people who are used to your style, well, you play offense, or you play defense, anything change this year? Or
Yeah,
is
I
it going to
think
be the
we're
same
going
thing?
to be more 5 out. I mean, I do got some post, and we will get it into the post out of that, but we're moving to more of a 5 out look stuff. This summer I simplified it a whole lot because I had 2 new seniors coming out to play. Jesse wasn't there. Grady was hurt, so we simplified it. But even with the guys I've got here, we've been working on it already. Defensively, I want to be more full court man, maybe some run and jump, because I feel like I'm deeper now than I've been in quite a while. Like these sophomores, I'm really big on this sophomore class because, like I said, we developed depth this summer because they played a lot of varsity. And we didn't play a lot of JV games. We didn't have many, and they played against the severe counties. We did Marible's, and I told them, I said, guys, for a while you held your own. And I said, we're not going to play nobody like that. I mean, Severe County, man, they're tough, and so is Maribel. But we developed depth, and I think we can do more pressing than we have in quite some time. And I think some of that is because we're going back to single A, and nothing against single A schools, but these AA schools, they've got 1 through 10 that are good. They just got kids, whereas a single A, most single A's has got 5 or 6 kids, and that's all they can throw out there. And so we can throw out 8 to 9 kids, maybe 10 on certain nights, but I think we got a shot to be more pressure defense than you've seen in quite a while. We didn't press a whole lot the last 2 years. And that's just because I couldn't afford to wear them guys out because I didn't have nobody that was ready for that competition.
Yeah. So as you get ready to get started,
Yeah.
first game Tuesday before Thanksgiving, November the 24th. That's
Mhm.
by design. You're not playing that first weekend
Yeah.
because of the football overlap.
Mhm.
So first opponent is
Oakdale.
Yes. And that will be, is that at home?
It's
or?
at home. It's
Okay.
at home. We'll play Oakdale. They're struggling. They're rebuilding. But the next week it gets real because we go to Anderson County and play Coach Jeffers. I don't know that he'll have all his guys back then. He may, but they'll be okay without him because he's got a good core that's there like I've had the last few years. But then it gets real. I mean, we jump right in it. I mean, after Thanksgiving break, it's 2 games a week, sometimes 3, and hopefully it's that way all the way to late February, early March.
All right, Jacob King. Thank you for
Hey,
taking
thank
time
you.
out of your day coming to be
Hey,
with
thanks
us.
for working with me. 'Cause
Hey,
I
no
mean,
problem. Glad to do it, and good luck to your son and his team
All
tonight
right.
as well.
Thank
All
you.
right. So we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk to Scott County Fairs to the Fair Briley Rector on the other side. Welcome back to the Roundtable on the IH Sports Network. Live tonight from the C. Michael Lay Technology Center in Helenwood. I'm Ben Garrett alongside Rick Keaton, and we're joined now by Miss Scott County Briley Rector. Now, Tim Smith invited you on tonight, Briley, and then look who's not here.
Yeah.
Okay, so
But look who is.
look who is. Yeah. So what we're going to do before we get started is I'm going to stop this bus. Okay, we're going to throw him under the bus. So I'm going to get off and pitch him under there, and I want you to get in the driver's seat and back over him. And then I'll check and see if he's still breathing. And if he is, I want you to shove it in reverse and go over him again.
Oh,
Okay. So before we get started, though, you got with you your little sister. Now you've got twin younger sisters, and this is Adeline. Adeline, tell us how old you are.
I am 8 years old.
Okay. And so your mama tells me that you are going to follow in Briley's footsteps, and you're going to be a dancer.
That is true.
So have you watching Briley? Is that what made you want to get into dance?
Yep.
Yep. You going to be a cheerleader also?
Yep.
Yep. How about a Ferris to the Fair contestant?
No, I just don't like it.
No. Okay.
You don't like
I don't either. Okay. So Briley is old school at being on the round table, but we're not talking about cheerleading tonight. You're here as Miss Scott County Ferris to the Fair. And folks may not realize, Ricky may not realize, that Ferris to the Fair is not just a pageant on a single night. And it's not just about going to the state and competing, which is coming up in January.
Yes.
But
I know a lot more than you give me credit for.
Miss
Don't ask
Scott,
me questions.
when you're Miss Scott County, you are, for 1 year, you are an ambassador for Scott County. And so we had your predecessor on last year, Cam Stiltner, was on, and she talked about her project that she was doing at that time, which was raising awareness and funds for the flood victims in North Carolina. And tonight you're going to tell us what you're going to be up to.
Yes.
So tell us.
Okay, my platform is autism awareness. My little sister has autism, and she inspired my platform. We have lots of projects coming up to help with helping with sensory toys for the schools around the county. So our first project is going to be a blanket that we have designed, and we're going to have kids from different schools make drawings, and they are going to be on puzzle pieces that are going to be on the blanket. Addie, do you want to show them your picture?
All right, turn that around so everybody can see you at home.
There we go.
That's Addie's picture. She worked very hard on it.
And that's going on the quilt.
Yes,
This
that
will
is
be
our first
transferred
picture.
to the cloth of
Yes.
the quilt.
That
Okay.
is our first picture on the blanket, and we are going to be in every single one of the elementary schools having kids there make drawings for the blanket.
Okay.
And who's going to actually put the blanket together for you? And
We haven't quite figured that out.
Okay.
Mom's raising her hand because she helped me design it, and so we have a general design right now. But after we get all the pictures, we're going to do a pre-order, and then you will be able to order it from there, and we will have it made and get it to you.
excellent.
So when I think about making quilts or blankets, I think about a bunch of women in a basement somewhere with the quilting machines. Is that what's going to happen?
No, not quite.
No.
It's
Let's end it off.
It's more of like a fuzzy top blanket. is what
Okay.
it's gonna
Okay, I got you.
It's going to be printed.
be. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. Carry on.
Yeah, so that is our first project for autism awareness, and then we will also be doing a pageant in April, just a small pageant. We don't have too much details on it yet, but we're open to sponsors for it and just trying to get it planned and set up.
Who should someone watching a program? Who should they contact if they want to be a sponsor? And
They
how?
can message me on Facebook,
Okay.
or they can, if they have my mom on anything, they can contact her, or any platform, social media platform, they can contact me on.
Okay, excellent. That's a good question.
I like that question.
Thank you.
Yeah. So he's starting to get the hang of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay. So you've also got bags of food.
Mhm.
So you guys, I saw this on social media too. You guys are doing a food drive.
We
So
are.
Tell us about the food drive.
Our food drive, we are making bags like these. These are meal bags, and they're going to be put in the share boxes around the county, and that's what our food drive is for. You can either Cash App or Venmo, or there's a drop-off place at Iron Goose in Huntsville, and there's a drop-off place at Gotta Dance Studio below the stairs. And so that's where all of our donations will be, and we will pick them up and put them in to meal bags like this and put them in the boxes.
And so how many of those blessing boxes type things are there around Scott County? Any idea?
4 or 5, I'm pretty sure. I'm not really sure, but
Okay. Okay. So do you have a goal? Like, do you have a set amount of food that you hope we can make X number of bags?
we don't necessarily have a goal. We're just trying to fill them up as much as we possibly can and get them in every single one of the boxes.
Okay. So, and I should have asked you this before I got off on the food subject. I'm not as good as Rick Keaton, but let's back up and talk about the autism awareness campaign again. So, and obviously you're doing this in honor of your sister, but just how did that come about?
Well, we were trying to pick a platform, and it took us a while. And then I think my mom was the first person to mention it. And at first I was like, I'm not really sure. We'll think about it. And we just kept going on. And every time we'd come back to autism awareness. And I talked to Addie about it. And she, when I first told her, she had the biggest smile on her face. So I knew that's what I wanted to do.
Okay. So, Addie, tell us about your picture.
Well, I don't know what to say.
You can say whatever you want.
Tell us what's in the center of the picture and the outline around it. What does those represent?
It's like it looks like it represents pride, and it does. It does because of the rainbow. Like that's what the flag the flag's colors is like rainbow. Like
now that you explained it, I get it. I understand it. Yes.
So, how long did it take you to draw this?
I don't know, honestly. I think it took some minutes or something.
Yeah, you know how long it would take me to draw that? Probably some hours. So, good job. All right. So, what else have you been up to as Fairest to the Fair?
We've done a lot of little things around the county. We did a fundraiser for the homeless shelter, which we made $220 for, and we presented that check at the coalition meeting, and that was taken to them. Their profits are just cut off, so I'm so glad I got to do that for them. And we actually planned it before they were even cut off, so we had no clue, and it just happened to work out. We've also done the what? The Thanksgiving meals. We did just do that. We did Thanksgiving meals for families for the schools, and we just got that together. I'm about to post for it. I still haven't. I need to. We just met yesterday and got them all together, and they're being sent out to the schools this week.
Okay. So tell us, Rick mentioned that was actually while we were on break. You mentioned the statewide pageant, but it is coming up.
It is.
So tell us about that. It's right around the corner.
It is right around the corner. I'm already so nervous for it, but I just know from everything I've heard it's going to be such an amazing experience. I get to meet so many new people, and while it definitely is stressful, I'm excited to just get out there and experience it and have as much fun as I possibly can with it.
So I don't know. We've never had a Miss Tennessee. Have we ever had a Miss Tennessee?
Gracie Marlowe won the state pageant.
She did. Okay, I was thinking Gracie finished second. So Gracie Marlowe was Miss Tennessee. Okay, so what do you think? The stage is set. You think you can match Gracie and go win the whole shooting match?
It's hard shoes to fill, but I'm just going to do the best I possibly can and have as much fun as I can.
You going to be in the Christmas parade?
I am.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So so you're just a junior in high school.
Mm-hmm.
So the way that the Fairest to the Fair works, you can the age limit I think is 20. So you're just 17, 18, whatever you are, just junior in high school. So could you theoretically be in the pageant again, or are you like the president and you're term limited?
I can't. I can only do it one time if I win, and so now I can't do it again, which is kind of sad because I've done it my entire life. But I'm glad I got to experience this, and I wanted to do this for a very long time, so I'm happy.
You're 2.5 months into your reign as Miss Scott County. Is it everything you thought it would be? Is it more?
It really is. I think I underestimated how much work it was going to actually be, but I've enjoyed every minute of it.
Okay. So this is a sports show, and you are a cheerleader at
Yes.
Oneida, and basketball season starts next week. So you guys play Tuesday night at home against Briley.
I don't know, actually.
It's actually against Oakdale, I think. I actually forgot. I think it's against Oakdale.
Well, if you say so.
Yeah, well I think
Who
it's
might have questioned
Oakdale.
you?
Yeah. So we may have asked you this when you were here before, but do you think it's basketball better or football better? Which do you enjoy more?
It depends. I like football season better. I like being out on the field and all of that, but I love basketball cheers more.
Okay. So how about it, Addie? You go to the games, watch Briley cheer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I go to football games just for Briley.
Yeah. All right. So, and I asked you this during the break, but your big brother, quarterback for Oneida and played basketball too, of course. Tell us what he's up to now.
He is about to start lineman school in January, I think. Is that right? Yeah. I don't really know.
You don't keep up with him.
Not
yeah,
much,
This
no.
is your show, not his,
Yeah.
right? Okay, I got you. That unfair question. All right, Briley Rector, one more time. Tell everybody how they can pitch in and sponsor the autism campaign, and also how they can donate to the food drive.
Our food drive, we will be having Cash App and Venmo, and you can do that. It's posted on my Facebook and Instagram. And then there are drop-off spots at Iron Goose and Gotta Dance Studio. And then for our pageant, you can message me on any social media platform or my mom, and we will get you set up to sponsor the pageant.
Don't forget the thing in the box there, Ben.
That's called a crown, right?
That's
It is called a
yeah.
crown.
She brought it for some reason. I mean,
Well, she
so-
just was
It's-
showing it off, right?
yeah.
I mean,
It's just for show.
if you want to take it out and try it on Rick, we can do
You
that.
could try it
before we go to
on.
It
break.
won't fit over the headset.
That's what he was
You
wanting.
could take it off.
No.
I
don't
think
so.
you can.
No, this keeps my ears warm.
It keeps your ears
Yeah.
warm. Well, Ben, do you want to try it on?
No, ma'am. My head's too
Okay.
big. Too big.
Don't want to
All
break it.
All right. Miss Scott County, Briley Rector, and also Addie Rector. And Addie, in about, 6-7 years, you'll be in high school. And we'll have you back on here as a cheerleader to pick some winners of some high school football games. What do you think about that?
It is good.
Yep. All right. We're going to take one more break. When we come back, we'll talk Scott High Wrestling with Coach Jason Jeffers. Welcome back to the Roundtable as we come to you live tonight from the C. Michael Lay Technology Center in Hellenwood, our final segment, and we're going to talk Sky High Wrestling. So we've been through 4 basketball teams. We talked about winter sports, and now we're down to our last one, wrestling. And Coach Jason Jeffers from Sky High joins us as he gets set for year number 3 of the wrestling program at Sky High. And Rick, I'm going to just defer to you to ask most of these questions because, frankly, I know nothing about wrestling except the fake stuff that's on TV. But we'll mention that Sky High will open the season at home on Thursday night against York Institute, and then they will be back at home again. Got a couple of road meets matches. See, there's what I know about wrestling. They'll be back at home again on December the 4th against Union County and Clinton. We will be broadcasting that one on the IH Sports Network. Yep, on December the 4th.
Because that is a district meet.
So, you guys talk wrestling.
Well, where do we get started at? It's actually the newest high school sport that we've got between the 2 high schools in the county. Started 3 years ago. And Jason put in a tremendous amount of effort and work to go out and study the sport of wrestling before bringing that to the administration and Director Hall to get this sport started. So I want to go back to that. I want to give you a lot of credit. I think you deserve that kind of credit because you started from scratch without nothing. You had to put it all together, the budgets. Where do we get the money? Can the school do this? Do we have to raise this? And then last year, you built your own practice facility. So let's start at the beginning, Jason, and then let's work to the practice facility that you completed last year.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys. Appreciate Ben and Rick and the whole crew here, Leetta and Greg and everything, all the work that's been put in out here over the last, I guess 5 years now for you guys. So a tremendous amount of credit should be given to you guys as well, just to give us a platform like this. But really, wrestling at Scott High goes all the way back to 2009 football season. We made the playoffs and had a totally different group of coaches at that time than we have now. And we slipped into the playoffs at team number 32 and had to travel to Nashville to play Maplewood High School. And probably, if you remember James Stone, he played left tackle for Maplewood, who later played center at UT. And James was on the Maplewood team, but we had to play at Hillsborough High School.
There's the only dry football field between here and Memphis.
Absolutely. It was a nightmare that year. We didn't wear our coaching gear until that game because we didn't want to get our shoes that swampy. It was a disaster that year. But so we dressed in Hillsborough's wrestling room, and we roll in there, and coaches do a lot of things, and one thing that we usually do is take turnabout of picking up all of our trash out of the visiting team's locker room when we're traveling. Just so happens that night was my night, and we're in a wrestling room, cleaned up a wrestling room, and I had no idea what we were working around. We had the big mats rolled out everywhere. So that's really where it started at. And we got back and ended the season and done what we do in the off season, and I started chatting with a couple coaches. And it wasn't next year we were traveling around watching matches and stuff like that. So that was in fall of 2010 when we started traveling and watching. And by 2011, we tried to form a team, and it took several years to kind of really get a grasp on just learning about it, because I knew nothing about it. I had no clue what was what, and I took a real interest in it. And so we traveled around for several years watching different schools, different matches, things of that nature. And whatever year it was, I think maybe fall or winter of 22. We got real serious about it, had kind of the right people in place, and it was a different time, 11 years later. I think really what helped us, believe it or not, was social media. Because anytime wrestling season starts up, and of course all the videos now are about deer hunting. Everyone's killing the 12-point buck now, right? Mm-hmm. So it sparks interest. So the fall of 22, all the wrestling videos start showing up on people's social media feeds and stuff like that, just the short 30-second. It's always the bad stuff. Some kid punches another kid in the face or something, and someone came to me and asked me about it, and that sparked a conversation that led to another conversation, and by February we had a sanctioned program through the Board of Education, and began the journey from February of 23 all the way up to September, October of 23. And by that point, we had, received grant money from the J.J. Watt Foundation to purchase a $10,000 mat and some uniforms for our youth program. And we had already received, different types of funding from the Board of Education and fundraising. So we ended up getting 3 full-size wrestling mats, brand new, close to 40 game uniforms, all the headgear, and it's all the equipment that goes with it. So, ended up the first year practicing in the farmers market across from the Justice Center. And that was great. We actually loved that building so much that we decided to build our own pretty much just like that building. That building was a 50 by 50, and the structure was exactly what we wanted. Relatively cheap and inexpensive to put up. It goes up quickly, but very durable as well. We ended up outfitting ours with, restroom, showers, locker room area, storage area, coach's office, and then a practice area. And it's full size. We have a full-size practice area. A practice mat is always out. It's been rolled out this is our second season now. So anytime our guys want to come and practice, or we call it rolling, want to roll on the mat, they can. And that's kind of how it started and how we got up to the practice facility. And this is our second season in that facility. And it's tremendous. It's the small things that, you don't think about. Just like our first year, our guys, they didn't even have a place to put their equipment, right. A backpack or a pair of shoes. But now they've got that. So, we're really excited about that and very, very blessed.
And beginning the wrestling program, you had very few students that had any wrestling experience. And now they're going to get their second year under their belt. And you've got seniors, they worked very hard to get to this point and probably have given up other sports to concentrate on wrestling. Let's talk about the ones that have been in the program for the entirety since you started it. And, let's talk about, the seniors first and expectations for them, Jason.
Yeah. So, as you said, we had very little experience in wrestling. How could you? But a school of our size, we've got 6, close to 700 students, and we're always getting transfers that are coming in. We got a few very good-looking transfers that came in, and some of them transferred back out. We had a kid from Ohio that transferred in. He wrestled up north and ended up transferring back out and going somewhere else or going back home or something. But, that's the kind of kids that we can attract because we have the sport of wrestling. But we've got 5 seniors right now, Bo Laxton, Caden Moffitt, Braden Potter, Mason Lou Allen, and Desmond Bolin. Of course, some of those names are very familiar to you. Bo and Caden has been with us since day one. Mason and Dez come on board last year. And Braden was with us as a sophomore, ended up not wrestling, came into football season, tore his labrum last year. So this is really the first year he's been back in the fold and able to wrestle with us. But those are our 5 guys. And, you know, I love it. I told him today at practice, I said, guys, I'm going to go on the round table tonight. And if I don't mention your name, don't feel bad about it, because, you know, when you're on the spot to throw out a bunch of names, you don't always remember everyone. But I said, guys, I love all of you guys equally, and we know that. And I tell them, you know, I'm very concerned about what goes on in the wrestling room, and, you know, I spend my time thinking about each one of them and how I can help them get better and how I can motivate them. But those are the guys. Those are a core group of guys that we've got. We've got a lot of very good underclassmen. You know, a couple of our underclassmen were sub-state qualifiers last year. You know, Caden, he's a senior. He missed making the state tournament by literally 10 seconds. And it was one of those things, when you go to these tournaments, you may have up to 4 wrestling mats going on at one time, and you get spread thin. So we've got different coaches at different mats, and I just happened to be on a different mat. And by the time I got over to the mat he was on, I didn't know what his situation was. So there's just different things that go on in a game. And one thing that you have in wrestling, you have a little strategy called stalling. You can stall. And I didn't know Caden's situation. And I still to this day haven't spoke to him about what the situation was, because ultimately it doesn't matter. End up having the match didn't go his way, but he was up 10-4 with 10 seconds left in the match. And the only move that the kid could make, he made. It was an upper body hold, kind of a headlock, took him straight to the mat, got 3 takedown points, which was basically made it 10-7, and then he took him straight to what's called near fall, and essentially you get 2 points at 2 seconds, all the way up to 4 points for 4 seconds. So this kid scored 7 points in 10 seconds, and, you know, we lost the match 11-10. So, you know, Caden is a tremendous wrestler. I think he's got 13 to 15 of our school records. Won 32 individual matches last year. So just phenomenal. These guys are such good athletes. We done hydration testing the other day. We had one young man with 4% body fat. So just unbelievable how athletic they are. So
sounds like me.
I could go.
I was thinking that as soon as Jason said it.
Sorry, carry on.
I could go on and on and on about those guys, but those are our core guys that's been with us from day one, and I'd be remiss without mentioning those guys.
Let's talk about the high school and or collegiate. It is a team sport, but it's all the individual efforts that goes into it in weight classes. So let's talk about the weight classes from the lightest, I guess, up to the heavies.
So men's wrestling in college has 10 weight classes. Okay, at the high school level, most states have 14 weight classes, which Tennessee does. So most all states carry the same type of rules.
But you don't necessarily have a wrestler that fits into every weight class sometimes.
We do not. At the high school level, it's difficult because it's very hard to find a young man that weighs less than 106 pounds. If they're 106.1, then they have to go 113. Yeah, Ben probably did.
Yeah, when I was about 3.
When I was about 3, exactly. Yeah, but we actually fill 12 out of the 14 weight classes,
and that's good.
And we've got the biggest team we've ever had. It's our 3rd year, obviously, but we're as big as we've ever been. We're 2 deep in some categories, but we don't have a 106 or a 113. So if you're a parent out there, you got a young man that attends Scott High, we would love to have him on a wrestling team for sure. But yeah, it goes to 106 all the way up to 285 pounds. When you hear the weight, that's the top of the weight class. So if you weigh more than that, you're up to the next weight class.
It's interesting just how that works. Now, most of your meets are dual meets. In other words, it's 3 teams or more sometimes at a meet, correct?
That's exactly right. We call them duels or tri-meets. Some people call them double duels, depending on how many teams you have there. Thursday night the 20th, we start wrestling at 6:30.
Less than 72 hours from now.
That's actually what I told the guys at practice today. We finished up practice at about 5:30, 5:15, 5:30. And so we'll have 4 teams coming Thursday. It will be us, Knox West, York, who's in their 4th year of wrestling, in Claiborne County. A couple of our guys actually beat the kids from Claiborne County last year in the region tournament to advance over to the sub-state. So it's very competitive once you get into late January and early February and on. York is very interesting. Their second or third year, they put a young man in the state tournament that finished third. And they have girls wrestling. They've got a young lady that won the state championship as a sophomore and as a junior, and she's back this year as a senior. So if you want to see some girl wrestling, the top girl in the state of Tennessee will be in our gym Thursday night.
And when you have the setup at home, you've got 2 mats out, right?
We usually do, yes.
So there's going to be, for people who want to attend, and we want to encourage that, there will be matches going on each mat simultaneously.
Yes.
Practically all evening long.
That's right. Thursday night, we have chosen to run 1 mat, although we've got 2 brand new competition mats. We chose to run 1 mat Tuesday night, 1 referee. We're going to run 7 different rounds, and it'll mix between Knox West versus Scott, Scott versus York. It'll also go back and forth between the girls from West and York, the girls from West and Claiborne County. So it seems like it'll be a very long night, but especially the girls, they don't fill all the weight classes. But as far as the guys wrestling, us, York, and Knox West, we will fill all but just a couple of the weight classes. So, but when we do run 2 mats, which our next home duel in December, we'll have Union County, Livingston, and some other teams there. We'll run 2 mats that night. So, yes, there'll be multiple matches, which is 1 versus 1, multiple matches going on during the night on each mat. So it's very exciting, very interesting. A lot of activity goes on.
Fast paced too.
Very much so. Yeah.
Each round is 3 minutes.
2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Yeah.
Thing like. And so, how? I didn't know this. I started watching it the first season. How many, I guess, points, how many this does it take to win each individual match?
So it's like a lot of things. Like during a football season, you may start out with a core group of guys, and injuries always pop up in the sport of football. Same way with basketball. So in wrestling, early season, your matches are not going to last very long because you'll probably get pinned or pin your opponent.
Right.
So as the season goes on, you'll get much better defensively. Your stamina level will be much, much higher. We work very, very hard in the off season and in the preseason at getting our guys in very good condition. This is why some of our guys are 4, 5, 6% body fat, because they're in such good shape. So our guys, for the most part, our 12 starters, they'll be in much better shape than their opponents will. So that's a little bit different strategy for some teams. But yeah, you can win by points or you can pin your opponent. That's the whole idea of wrestling, is you pin your opponent. In MMA, your submission. In boxing, it's a knockout. But in what we call folk style wrestling or collegiate or high school wrestling, it's all about pinning your opponent, and that occurs when your opponent's shoulders are on the mat for a second. There's no counting. The referee simply looks at the shoulders. If they're on the mat, you're pinned and it's over with. So what's interesting is you can also win by points if it goes the length of the entire match, which is 3 2-minute periods. Whoever has the most points at the end of that is the winner. If you're down by, say, 5 or 10 or 8 points, you can pin your opponent at any time. It doesn't matter what the score is. So that's very interesting too. And throughout the last 3 years, I don't know how many times I've seen the guy that's losing in points come back and pin their opponent. So it's we popped through to the 2 guys through to the sub-state our first year wrestling on a very similar situation. They were way down in points, like 12-2. And in both cases, they came back and pinned their opponent within the last 30 seconds of the match. So it's very exciting when you know that you can always win.
And you've got, I guess he's one of my favorites because he's probably the first person that ever won a match for the team. He was only 8th grader at that time. You got Oz. Is Oz your heavyweight?
Oz is one of our heavyweights. We've got 2 heavyweights. And those guys are so good for each other in practice. So I'm going to plan on rotating those guys throughout the evening and depending on what the matchups are. But yeah, Oz is still with us. Oz will be the first guy that'll have 5 years with us because of his 8th grade year. So that's pretty exciting. We love Oz.
Yeah, we certainly do. I mean, and there was another match he had, I think, in that first year. He went up against like a sophomore, maybe a little higher weight, and battled that out for, I think, his 3 rounds, and just ran out of gas there at the end. I still remember that match and just how hard, as an 8th grader, he fought against a high schooler at that time.
He did. He sure did, for sure. Oz is something else. When you think he's down and out and doesn't have a chance, he'll roll over and win the match. He and Mason Llewellyn had 2 huge wins last year. We had Pulaski County and Farragut, both 5A schools, and York came in last year at our season opener last year, and we ended up beating all 3 of them that night. And Oz and Mason, they came from behind, and in typical Oz fashion, you think he's down and out, it's over with, and he rolls over and pins the kid. So we love Oz for sure.
What typically, well, I'll just say this, Thursday night, what time do you start? 6 o'clock?
We'll start wrestling at 6:30.
6:30.
Yep, 6:30.
And sell it to the fans out there. Why we'd like to have a big crowd show up, because this is your first home match of the year. Let's sell it to the fans and let's get some support out for your wrestling squad.
Yeah, we usually run a pretty good crowd. We typically have 400 people there, give or take. And part of the reason we have that is because there's so many different teams there, you know. But it's an exciting time. We've got great facilities at Scott High. We run a quality program out there. And it's a situation where it's very family friendly. A lot of our parents are involved, so it's just a good environment to have your children in. I'm not going to be a part of anything that's not respectful and things of that nature. So, come on out, support our kids. Encourage them. These are our kids in our community that go to our schools. We've actually got an event tomorrow at school. We're doing an in-school inter-squad match tomorrow afternoon. I think we're just going to run about 6 matches tomorrow. So we'll have that during school tomorrow, which will be kind of a warm-up, if you will.
But can you leave your mats out then where you don't have to take them up for Thursday?
No. We'll take those up, because our guys will have basketball practice tomorrow. Okay. I think the ladies practice first and the guys practice later. So, we'll roll that right back up as soon as we're finished up and real quickly put it away in storage. And then, of course, we'll practice again. That's the beauty of having our own practice facility. We'll go and practice in our practice facility. We'll roll it right back out Thursday and get it done. But come on out, people of Scott County. If you've never seen high school wrestling before, there's nothing like watching it in person. And our wrestling magazine, which we do every year, I got an email this afternoon from the company who printed that. They're totally finished. We're going to go and pick those up before Thursday, so those will be available to anyone in Scott County that wants those. We always give dozens away to our wrestlers, and they can take them, give them to their friends and family, and we always spread them throughout the county. But there's always a referee hand signal chart on the back of that. And I'll say this: the more you know about wrestling, the more exciting it is. So I say come on out and enjoy it and meet some people, and you'll see people from all over the place, all shapes and sizes, grandparents. We love it when our kids get on the mat and wrestle after the fact. They love getting on a big 40-foot wide mat and rolling around. We've got pictures of them and of them doing that. So it's just a good environment, good family environment.
And so everybody knows this is not WWF, because those moves are all illegal when it comes to high school and collegiate wrestling, just about. So
far as I know, I don't think any of that stuff would make it past TSSAA. So this is definitely folk style, oldest sport in the world is what they say. And if you have any questions about it, just get on YouTube and type in high school wrestling, and that'll show you all you need to know. It's a very competitive sport. There's no breaks, there's no timeouts. If you need a break or a timeout, it's not going to happen within that 6 minutes on the mat at all. So it's very fast-paced, very exciting, always something going on. And, a lot of folks are very amazed at just how athletic these kids are. I have to tell them in our wrestling room, they're doing backflips and somersaults and jumping in the air, and it's just unreal how athletic these guys are. If you're interested in that kind of thing, come on out to Scott High Thursday at 6:30.
Yeah, I was amazed. First one I ever went to. I was certainly amazed and look forward to catching. As you've got a fuller round or more matches scheduled, I look forward to that this year.
We do. We've got a full schedule. As the years have rolled off right here, and of course we've got Coach Ellis and Coach Yaden in there. They're working the schedule, and basketball's a little more organized than wrestling as a whole. I feel like I'm pretty organized, but I know those guys are real organized. So they'll finish their schedule up in about May, somewhere in May or June. They're totally finished, and then I'll come in behind them and I'll say, hey, what's your home schedule look like? So we work very well together. The only time I even think about scheduling a home event is when they are on the road playing. That's the only time. And I don't even want to wrestle if they're just practicing, because we've got limited facilities. Hopefully we're going to upgrade and get us another gym here in a few years and be able to expand in some other areas as well. But for right now, we work so good together, and they've been great to me. Man, Brent Ellis was a great hire. I'm telling you, I didn't know who Brent was, but he's just such a nice guy, professional guy, wants the best for the kids. And
who's boys basketball
coach. He's tremendous. So I've really grown to appreciate and respect just the way he goes about things, and he's tremendous. Good hire. We've got good coaches at Scott High. We work so good together. Football and wrestling, obviously the basketball coaches and wrestling, we all have to work together. I've not told my wrestlers this yet, but I'm hoping to get those guys to run track in the spring. I've got some guys that could really run that 200 meter and that 4x2 relay, and I'm going to encourage those guys to get involved in that. So we are trending in the right direction in a lot of ways out there for sure. So we're thankful for that. But yeah, we've got a full schedule this year. We have 6 home events. We're hosting the district duels, which is district championship. That's something that's voted on by the coaches, and the coaches in our district. They're okay with coming to Scott High on January the 13th. And that'll be the highlight of our season. And we should be right in the thick of things in terms of competing for that district championship. I don't think anybody's picking us to win it, but we are up, and the other schools are a little down right now. They Gibbs has 4 kids at LMU wrestling right now that are freshmen over there. So they lost that type of talent off their team last year. So, and we're bringing everybody back except for 2 of the seniors we lost last year. So, exciting time. We'll see how things play out.
Look forward to it.
Sure.
All right, so Thursday night, Scott High opens the season at 6:30 at home, and then they'll be back at home again on December the 4th, also at 6:30. We'll be there for that. And then the district duels. Now, you got a lot of other home matches as well, but district duels January the 13th, and I think basketball is at Gibbs that night. So what do you think? Maybe a good opportunity to go back to Scott High with our broadcast gear again on January 13th.
Yes, sir.
All right. Coach Jason Jeffers, good luck this season. Thank you for joining us tonight. That's going to do it for us tonight on the Roundtable. I want to thank Rick Keaton for being here. Hope Tim Smith is enjoying his night off at home. Thank Greg Baum behind the scenes, as always. Leetta Boyd for bouncing and guarding the door over here. Be sure to join us 1 week from tomorrow night as we get basketball season started. We'll have a doubleheader next Tuesday night on the IH Sports Network. Until then, thank you for joining us, and good night.